Hello, just going to do a quick video of my game room, kind of an update. Did a few different things down here and my movie theater room, so just thought I'd do a quick tour. Hopefully it'll be quick. This is going down into my basement. I've got a few autographed pictures, kind of gathering either side. My cool Star Wars poster, that hasn't really changed. So as you get down here, this is my kids' TV that they like to play Smash Brothers on when we have company over. They're always playing Smash Brothers. On this side is where I've got my arcade machine set up. This is my Chicago gaming company. It's pretty awesome. It's got licensed ROMs on it, and it's got a CRT in it, which is fantastic. So it feels like an old arcade machine. It's got the trackball and everything. This is my Space Invaders 2 cabinet. And I got this as my little cocktail. The neat thing about this is on for 2-player. It's actually got one on either side. So when you have 2 credits in and you die, the second player gets to play on that side and the screen flips. So that's pretty cool. This is my coveted Neo Geo 4 slot. I've been wanting one of these things forever. I've had it now for probably 4 or 5 years, so it has been a while. Actually, I think I bought it in 2013, so it's probably been about 7 years. So, yes, I did a lot of work on it. Redid the control panel and had the boards capped, things like that, which is cool. This side of this room is my movie theater. I've got a Epson, I think it's an 8350. Yeah, Power Cinema 8350. It's a 1080p projector. It's great. Works great for gaming and videos, movies, stuff I like to do. Just got a 7.1 system hooked up. These are some more of my autograph pictures that I've got. Gilmore Girls. I'll blame that on my wife. And so yeah, I think it's just a 106-inch screen. I wish I could get bigger. It doesn't really quite fit in this room. Much bigger than that. So it's great though. It works. I've got a great little record and Laserdisc collection right there. These posters are original from their time. Some of my favorites. So I've got those kind of hooked up there. So this is kind of my little movie theater / arcade room. Those are my movies. The nice thing is I got a nice little kitchen down here too for entertaining, which is nice. The other thing I love about my basement is it's a walkout. So that's my backyard and my little patio. So you can kind of go out and just hang out. Yeah, this kind of reminds me of the old theaters when they had their arcades and stuff in there in the theater. So that's kind of my little homage to that. This side is where I've got my video games. So over here, I've got more autograph pictures. Gosh, I went on a binge one year. On this side, I've got my 2 bedrooms. And these 2 bedrooms, this is a spare. This is my arcade air hockey table. There's no room on the other side, otherwise it would be over there. Probably when I get rid of the kids. When I get rid of the kids' TV, that's probably where this guy will go. It's pretty big. But in this closet, I've got a lot of my boxes I couldn't fit into my main game room. So, my Amiga box, my Super Famicom, some Jaguar and Playdia. Sega Saturn. That's the most plain console box you've ever seen. Look at this thing. Just single one color printed cardboard. It's really weird. And some of my other stuff, newer stuff, PS4 Pro, a couple of Xbox Ones. My Voltron's hiding back in there. Anyway, so this is kind of where I've got some of my system boxes kind of just stuffed in the closet here, sadly. As we move over here, this is my... Oh, so I ended up having to make some changes. So I ended up having to cut this down so that I could throw these games somewhere. I don't like them here. Probably means I got too many games. But as you can see, I'll show you where that came from. So this is my game room. I've got some cool signage there that were at a GameStop. It's an old Mac I'm actually working on currently. These were in a game store, I think. It might have was GameStop. I got them from a friend. So this is the actual game room as it sits. Kind of do a quick pan of it. So I've always wanted to have a little bit of everything. I think I've accomplished it as I'll go over here in a couple minutes. I've always liked the idea of having consoles somewhat readily available to hook up. Not to, not having to pull everything out of the box, just have switches, pop, and turn them on. So that's kind of my game room. I haven't actually counted how many consoles I have hooked up, but I think it's around 30 or 40, something like that. So on this side, as you walk in, this is my Tate setup. So this is where I have my games that will play in vertical mode. I've got these two TVs kind of hooked together so that they can either display regular or Tate. The great thing is I've got on this setup is I've got a original Xbox debug kit, and what that has is I've got coin ops and some other things on there so that and a lot of those will play in vertical mode through MAME, which is awesome. I've got my PS2 test and my R7 Dreamcast, which is beautiful. My Saturn, which is also fantastic. On this side, I've got my just a couple little doodads here, Laserdisc players, so I can watch Laserdiscs on this plow. These are actually professional grade plasma TVs that came out of a TV studio, and they're awesome. They were made to film on screen, I guess. So I actually think plasma looks great with retro style games, so that's why I picked those up. This is my little sound bar. This is my little RGB setup. As you can see, I got a little PVM here. And down here, I've got my Model 1 Genesis, AES, and Master System, Model 1, which has got the FM sound mod. So that's pretty cool. It's got a little Super Famicom also hooked up to the RGB setup. And then these are my games. I'm going to go ahead and flip this light off here. These are my games shelves. I picked these up from a local video store, the rental store that they went out of business, unfortunately, and they were giving the shelves away for free. So I picked up, I think, 5 or 6 of these, and I would have easily filled up the shelves, but I've sold a lot of my collection off because I wanted to kind of keep it all contained into this little room so I didn't have stuff spilling out everywhere, even though I've got arcade machines and stuff in the other rooms, but it is what it is. So on this shelf, I've kind of got some of my older things, 2600 and Fairchild stuff, a couple of boxed Atari 2600 games. This is my ColecoVision, which I absolutely love. I had a ColecoVision as a kid. It was my second console that I had when I was growing up, and Beam Rider was my favorite, and Donkey Kong. Love those games. So I've got a decent little collection there. Below here, I've got my 3DO. These are some of the just kind of the loose discs I got. and some of my long boxes I've got as well. I love the 3DO. It's one I've never had as a kid. I only knew one person that owned it, and that blew my mind. So I've always thought it was so futuristic when we were kids, being CD based and all that stuff, kind of before the PS1 era. CDI, who doesn't need CDI? Neo Geo CDs as well. I used to have a big collection of those, but just got rid of them. They were all fighting games, didn't really care. So I've got like Viewpoint and a couple others, just shooters and some non-fighting games in there. I've got Link, then Zelda, the Wand of Gamelon for the CDI. I also have Mario, Hotel Mario, which you need Mario and Zelda games that are not made for Nintendo, right? Why not? Why not? A little lower, I've got my PS1 collection. These are some of my imports. And my US games. I really love the PlayStation 1, just as many others do. I've kind of curated these collections down to games I think I would actually play or I wanted to kind of hang on to. And so that's kind of what I've done there. Down here, I have got my Odyssey 2 stuff. Those are really cool. These are actually got like game board pieces and stuff with them, but they were almost like they were a hybrid between video game and board game. So those were kind of weird. I've never actually messed with those. I have to give those a try. This is my TI-99 stuff. I actually owned, this was the first, and I say my dad bought the TI-99, and I was quite little, but I do remember it. These are the first gaming experiences I had, was with TI Invaders and Car Wars. That's TI Invaders, basically a Space Invaders clone. And it's really good on the TI. But Hunt the Wumpus. Anyway, this is great. I've never actually seen big boxes of those games, but they're huge. Going on to the next shelf, Master System. Never owned this as a kid. Again, I only had one person I knew as a kid that owned a Master System, and I just thought it was the weird Nintendo. And so I've kind of got a decent little collection of these and absolutely love the Master System. Got a couple of the card games that look like TurboGrafx games. Got a couple of European games hiding up in there, but yeah, I love the Master System. Kind of onto my Genesis stuff. The coveted Musha, everybody seems to want. Road Rash, I love the Road Rash series. Here's the Sonic games. Streets of Rage, got to be some of the best. Best on there. Lightning Force is a great shooter. Golden Axes, these aren't quite in alphabetical order. Fix-It Felix Jr., it's a really cool kind of, I guess, reproduction game or something that, I mean, it has a box and manual and all these awesome stuff with it, but it's the game from the movie. It's Fix-It Felix. It's really fun. Here's my 32X games and a few of my loose Genesis games. Love Troubleshooter. Gyarus, love Gyarus. Truxton. Some Splatterhouse in there. And this is some of my Jaguar. A couple of Famicom games kind of hiding in there. Love Crisis Force. That is one of the neatest 8-bit shoot 'em ups I've ever seen. It's got to be one of the most beautiful ones out there. If you've never tried that, you got to fire that one up. Some Castlevania for the MSX. Some of my Japanese Mega Drive games, a couple more MSX games in there. The original Goonies is really fun. Some of my weird Japanese games, PCFX. The Playdia. I got 2 of the 3 really desirable PCFX games. That's called Zyrigar. The other one I just dropped, which was not cool. This one's called Chip Chan Kick. For you guys that like Bubble Bobble, you definitely need to give this a try. It is a single screen, kind of kill 'em all, clean 'em up game. And it is one of the most gorgeous games I've ever seen. The colors on it are astounding. These are my FM Towns. FM Towns Marty games. Like Afterburner. I got like Splatterhouse in there, which is awesome. Rainbow Islands. Death Parade. There's a couple of fun ones. Dreamcast. So these are my import Dreamcast games. I love the shooters. I got like Border down there and Zero Gunner 2. So much fun. Love those games. There's my Ikaruga. These are my US Dreamcast games. So I bought one of these in 2001 as it was dying. So a lot of these games I actually bought brand new when it was a thing. Crazy Taxi was so much fun. And it goes into my import Saturn stuff here. Again, I love the shooters. So I got like Radiant Silvergun, Strikers, Donpachi, Sexy Proteus, Metal Black, Galaxy Force 2, some good ones. Thunder Force 5 has got to be one of the most beautiful. Twin Bee, Twinkle Star Sprites is also good. Yeah, a lot of good stuff here. My Japanese Mega CD stuff. I got some decent ones. Again, some kind of shooters. There's Kyo Flying Squadron, Road Blasters, Final Fight CD, Soul Feast. So this is a really cool kind of platforming run and gun style type shooter. It's really cool. It's called Devastator. Anyway, these are kind of fun. These are some of my Amiga CD32 games right there. Just a handful of those. They're hard to get, at least here in the States. Now this is my PC Engine and TurboGrafx collection kind of mixed together. Again, most of the stuff I've kept are platforming and shooters. Yeah. There's a racing game in there. There's Rondo of Blood, Star Parodier, Ray Zambar 3. I got 2 and 3 there. Zero Wing. I love Zero Wing. As you can see, I've got a Zero Wing marquee up above that TV. All your base belonged to us was the famous line from that. Some of my US TurboGrafx CD games. Some Hue cards for the PC Engine and my US TurboGrafx stuff. And at the top here, I've got my Sega CD stuff. Stuff I've just decided to keep. Batman Returns is really cool. Difference between that one and the cartridge, I think, is there's like a racing, and it's right at the beginning of the level, which is fun. I love the Sega CD. That was really neat. Got some decent games on there. Never tried Dune. I've heard that one was fun, but never actually given that one a try yet. Going into my Sega Saturn stuff. Don't have a ton. I probably have more Japanese games than I do American. Exhumed. It was a first-person shooter that I got from Europe, but it was weird. I found it at a yard sale here, so that was weird. Here's my NES games. Again, I've kind of kept it as lean and mean as possible. Games that I thought I'd actually play. These are ones I imported from Europe. Got Probotector, which is a Contra, which instead of using people, they use robots. And good old Aussie Rules Footy. Got to have that. Games that were exclusive. So that was kind of fun. I think I have another couple of European ones right there. There's like Aladdin. And so that was cool. And I think I got a Smurfs game somewhere. Right there. So those are like European or something. Love the NES. Got a few boxed games here for the NES. Some of my favorite, Double Dragon 2. Loved Pro Wrestling and Tecmo Bowl. The original Zelda was the only Zelda I liked. I know that's heresy, but it is what it is. Double Dribble and Karnov were 2 of the very first games I owned. Mario games. Here's my pretty Famicom Love how pretty the colors are. Which are Japanese NES games. The Famicom Disk System games. Few Super Famicom games from Japan. I mean, that's the thing I love. I love the Japanese art. I mean, look how pretty. They're all pretty and colorful. And here's the US Super Nintendo stuff. It's just blah. But I still like it. Down here, I've got some Nintendo 64 stuff in the box. Never been a huge 64 fan. Star Soldier is actually really good. It's a shooter. A couple of Japanese 64 games. I love Sin and Punishment and Bangai-O. I got both of those sitting right there. Loose Super Famicom games. Love those. Got a couple of my handhelds hiding over there. A Game Boy and Neo Pocket. And here are my US Super Nintendo games. A couple of the good ones up front there. Some of my boxed Game Boy stuff. Some of my import PS2. And they're mostly shooters in that. I kind of kept those ones in here. Kept them out of the hallway. GameCube, some more of my shooters for the 360. And yeah, gross. N64 loose. And then this is the shelf I cut up so that I could put these 3 computers in here. Actually, 4 computers. I wanted a space for these, and so this is the only place I could figure out how to put it. But I've got my Neo, well, up top here, I actually got my couple of Amiga games. Captain Blood is actually still sealed. Blood Money, as you can see. I paid a whole $1 for that one. Artura was also sealed. Double Dragon 2 is also sealed. I paid $1 for all of these at a thrift store here locally. Some of my AES games. 8-bit Atari cartridges I've got sitting in here. This is a complete Virtual Boy set. Not all the Japanese games, but I've got all of the US releases. My beautiful Vectrexes, Vectri, I don't know what you call it, on the Spectrum. How cool is this? Cassette tapes, games on cassette. I got this lot last December. Just makes me happy to have some unique stuff here in the States. A couple of C64 cartridges up in there. Stacked up some more Amiga games here. That's the only Atari ST complete in box game I've got. This is my Coco stuff. Color computer, the TRS-80. View in the box. So on this, so that's basically all the games that I've got displayed here. I've got the Atari ST 1040 sitting up in here. And below it, I got my A500 Amiga with its monitor, and same with the Atari. I love that I got matching monitors for these. Commodore 64 with the disk drive, the C64C, and this is my Dragon 64, which is kind of a color computer clone, I guess. I haven't quite figured it out, but some of the games work, some of them don't work properly. But I have that also hooked up to the Commodore monitor, so all 4 of those are easily hooked up, which is neat. Over here, I've got my Vectrex up top, so I can just easily pull them down. I got extra controllers for them as well, which is really nice. Kind of some obscure ones. This TV here I've got hooked up through S-Video. So basically, I've got my CDI, my top-loading 3DO, my Jaguar, my Blue Debug PlayStation 1. Cool thing about that is this debug kit was owned by, has a sticker on the bottom from Boss Game Studios. And the only game they developed was this game called Spider. So I had to put that up there by it. This is my original Dreamcast that I bought. This is my N64. This TV, this Sony actually has a HDMI input. So I actually hook my Raspberry Pi up to it sometimes. It looks really, really cool. Where's the famous loading screen from the Neo CD? Super Nintendo, modded Xbox, another one down there. So I could have coin ops and stuff there. Here's my Neo CD. These are my really cool, obscure Japanese consoles. I've got the FM Towns of Marty, the PC FX, and the Wonder Mega. Really weird and obscure. So this is kind of an all-in-one Mega Drive CD combo mixed together. It is beautiful. So I need to play that one probably a little more. This TV over here is my composite TV. I have my Laser Active, which is what's playing right now. This is the Sega Pack. I'm actually playing a Laserdisc game. I got Space Berserker. I've got a handful of games there. Just a couple. 7800. This is the Pladia. It's really not not worth owning, but I love having it. Another PS1. Why do I have two together? Because I can link them together and play Test Drive 4. I did that as a kid. Loved doing that. So that was kind of cool. This is my little NES. My ColecoVision with the Atari expansion port 2600 piece. Again, I had the Coleco as a kid. The roller controller for the Coleco. Here's Laserdisc game. Ha! You can see the Xbox reflection. That's funny. Pretty neat, though. Down here, I've got my FamiDisc, my US Turbo Duo. It's been region modded so I can play Japanese Hue cards as well. My Trio, which is the 32X Genesis and Sega CD Model 2. This is my TI-99 computer, my Coco 2, and my MSX2. That basically consists of all my systems I have hooked up. What I've added this year was this side. This is what I wanted to. I had this closet, and I wanted to add some more consoles in here. So, more or less retro computers. So what I've done in this room, I've added some of the boxes that I own. My Channel F, Odyssey, Coco, a couple of Ataris, television, TI. Master System, NES, Turbo Duo, Super Nintendo. Crystal Quest was one of my only games I knew for the Mac. I just recently picked up this. I love Stunts. I've been looking for that game forever. I need a box for it. So I've got my Coleco Atom kind of buried under its cover there. I've got my Atari disk drives, 1050 and the Aegis GT, which is really cool, hooked up. This is the Oregon Trail, obviously. Playing through my Apple IIc. My Atari 8-bit, my Atari 800XL goes through this. So basically all these, not the Apple, obviously, but the Atom, the Atari, the CD32, the awesome Spectrum Plus 2 here, the ZX Spectrum. I got that all hooked in through my other PVM here, through RGB. The Atom and the Atari are not through RGB, they're just through composite. On this side, I've got this PC monitor, and I basically have 4 computers hooked up to it. Well, no, 3. I've got my XP, my Windows 95 machine, which is displaying overkill right now, as you can see. And I've got my Macintosh right there, my Power PC that's also hooked up to this VGA monitor. Really cool ViewSonic. So eventually I've got a Windows 98 machine back there that I'm working on. Probably get a Voodoo card stuffed in there and probably replace the XP machine here. On this side, I've got some of my big box PC games kind of hiding up in here. Below it, some of my Atari, kind of getting stuck in here. Some of my weird Atari games in weird huge boxes. Some more of my big box PC stuff. And a couple of loose discs as well. And then below, I've got two Atari Lynx, crystal clear Xbox, a couple of more debug units down there as well. Yeah, this Overkill is actually a pretty cool shooter. Anyways, that's Steel Battalion. I still am too scared to play that game. It's got a huge controller with it. Anyway, this is basically the overview of my entire game room. This was a lot longer than I thought. But I guess there's a lot to kind of go over. I always wanted a little bit of everything. So when somebody came over, they'd be like, oh, I used to love to play the Odyssey 2. And then I can pull out the Odyssey 2. I didn't have room for every single console that I own, but the majority of them are hooked up. And if there's anything else that's unusual, then, I can usually find a spot and kind of plug them in as I need. The last little bit here is kind of my little display case. That was me when I worked at a body shop. We actually had a DeLorean in. We were fixing a bumper, and that was my Knight Rider car. I thought that was pretty neat. That's really cool. Check that out. I got an XDK, Xbox One unit. And then these are some consoles I custom painted. Nope. I want it to look like wood. It's not wood. It looks like wood. Just thought it was pretty cool. This was one that was airbrushed to represent Mario and Bowser. Give the eyeball, so it kind of has this reflection for like their final battle. It's really cool. Video doesn't ever do these things justice. Custom painted Zelda I did. I love the original Zelda, and I need to play the other ones, to be honest. And another 64. A couple Super Famicoms I painted. Anyway, a couple books and magazines and stuff I've got hiding down there. But that's basically it. If you got any questions, or feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching.